Hi Stampers, this is Marie Bennett at blackberriesandcream.net. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I'm going to show you how I made this cute Christmas card. For this project, we're going to be using one stamp set, Lots of Joy, and we're using two images from this stamp set, this Merry Christmas and Wishing You Lots of Joy. And we're going to be stamping in cherry cobbler, and the card is made using an early espresso, half a piece of early espresso cut at 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Then we fold it in half. This is a very quick card. It should go together fairly quickly. And on the outside of the card, we're going to adhere this piece of real red and very vanilla designer series paper from the paper stack called Home for Christmas. And I'm using snail adhesive for this. You can see the back side of this paper is very pretty too. We're using the stripes. For this project, I wanted something that could go together very quickly with a minimum of stamping, or somebody who's just learning to make cards could do this and look like a pro. Alright, so outside of the card is ready. On the inside of the card, we're going to use a piece of very vanilla that is cut at 4 by 5 1/4, and this piece also was cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And on this we're going to stamp May Your Days Be Merry and Bright in cherry cobbler. And then I'm going to use my sponge dauber to sponge daub the edges, also in cherry cobbler. Kind of softens up the edges and doesn't make it look like such an abrupt transition from the very vanilla to the colored cardstock. Okay, so I'll adhere this with snail adhesive. I like to use plenty of adhesive so that it all stays together. Okay, put that on. You see we have a border about 1/8 of an inch all the way around, because this piece is cut 1/4 of an inch smaller than the dimensions of the card base. Alright, now this piece is 2.5 by 4. It's a piece of very vanilla cardstock, and just like the inside of the card, I'm going to daub this piece of very vanilla, soften up these edges. Okay, and now I'm going to stamp on here Wishing You Lots and Lots of Joy, also in cherry cobbler, and I want this to be in the lower left hand corner of this piece of very vanilla. There we go. That's all the stamping that is required for this card. Alright, so I'm going to be using 1/2 of a tea lace doily. And I need to put some adhesive on across the back, just on the bottom, because I'm going to be kind of pleating this card a little bit. So I just want to fold it in, and then just like when you make drapes, fold it, put the fold toward the other fold, and then on this side have the fold go out, toward this fold. There. Okay, now this piece of Very Vanilla comes up about, I'm going to say, 1/2 inch from the bottom. And then I want to adhere this tea lace doily under this piece of Very Vanilla, kind of over to the edge. So I just used that Very Vanilla as a guide while I put the doily where I wanted it. Okay, now I can adhere this with more snail adhesive. You can make this card with just a minimum of product, so it makes it very affordable, not only because it's a minimum of product, but also because it takes a very short period of time to make the card, as you can see. Okay, now I've used a piece of the Designer Series paper Home for the Holidays, and I have fussy cut all of these poinsettias, and you get, from one sheet of Designer Series paper, you get 18 whole poinsettias and 14 partial ones that are on the edge of the paper. And so you can make a lot of cards with just one sheet of Designer Series paper. Now this piece I want to come in the corner down here, so I'm going to just put some more snail adhesive on there, like that. Whoops. And then on the back of this poinsettia, I'm going to use a glue dot, which I have hidden from myself somewhere. Oh, here they are. Okay. So I'm going to use, actually I'm going to use 2 glue dots at the top, kind of toward the top of this poinsettia, because I'm going to use these glue dots to adhere some of this gold thread. So I just want to cut off a piece of gold thread about that long. Not an exact science, just whatever you want to use, and it looks like I've chosen about 16 inches. So I'll clip that off. And then where I've put the glue dots, I'm going to start making a loop. So I'm just going to kind of stick this on there, press it into that glue dot right there, make a loop, and then make another loop. I think I want this loop to be a little bigger, so right there, whoops. It doesn't want to be a loop. Right there. Okay, then another loop. It's you just keep working with it until you have what you want. So I think that's plenty. And then I'm going to use some dimensionals and put it right over the top of where I had those glue dots, just to keep that gold thread in place. And then I need a couple more. Okay, so and then I'm just going to place that toward the top of the card so that I can see my whole greeting here. And the doily just sort of frames the poinsettia and adds some dimension to the card. That's the whole card right there. And if you were to get all of your individual parts prepared and do this in a assembly line fashion, you could easily make your Christmas cards in maybe an hour tops, and for a very minimum investment. Very inexpensive card, and I think it's kind of cute. So I hope you'll give this a try. At least take a look at that Home for the Holidays Designer Series paper, because it has lots of images that you can, we call it fussy cut or hand cut, and use them to make your own Christmas cards. So here's some Santas that I have fussy cut. And then there are some cute little reindeer and the poinsettias and a Christmas tree, which is very cute too. So if you're like me and you spend lots of time with your husband watching football, you might want to consider spending your football time fussy cutting your Christmas cards. Hope you give it a try. Thanks for watching. Bye.